This is Justin from MakeUseOf.com, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge and the Samsung Gear VR for the S6. The phone has been hugely hyped by Samsung due to the curved screen on two edges of the phone, which I found actually made the phone pretty awkward to hold. Samsung seems to have implemented some sort of software trick to not register accidental touches on the curved edges, but it doesn't work perfectly. Physically, the S6 Edge is an extremely thin and light device. It weighs only 132 grams and is 7 millimeters thin, nearly the same weight and thinness as the iPhone 6. It's made entirely of glass and metal, which makes it feel sturdy and premium, nothing like the plastic of the Galaxy S5 or S4. However, that premium design comes at a cost. The Galaxy S6 Edge only has a 2,600 mAh non-removable battery, and it has no slot for expanded microSD storage. The headphone jack and speaker grill have been moved to the bottom of the device, just like on the iPhone 6, and the 16-megapixel camera unit on the back juts out a bit. The right side is home to the power button, the left side has two volume buttons, and the top has an IR blaster and SIM card tray. The buttons on this phone are clicky and feel great. The AMOLED screen is 5.1 inches and has a 2K resolution that results in an insanely high pixel density of 577 pixels per inch. The phone is powered by an Exynos octa-core processor, 3GB of RAM, and this version has 32GB of storage, though Samsung also sells a 64GB version and a 128GB version. Additionally, there is a fingerprint scanner built into the home button, which works with a quick tap, not a swipe like on the S5, as well as a heart rate sensor on the back and an LED notification light and 5-megapixel wide-angle camera on the front. None of this comes cheap though. The Galaxy S6 Edge goes for around $800 to $900 unlocked, and you can get it at most carriers for $300 on a 2-year contract. Internally, the S6 Edge is running Samsung's version of Android 5.0 Lollipop called TouchWiz. This time, Samsung has really toned down on their copious amounts of customizations, and the result is finally a version of Android that is clean, modern, and useful. One of the biggest advantages of TouchWiz is the ability to multitask. Samsung has a multi-window feature built in that allows you to run two apps at the same time, or you can also minimize a single app and have it run over top of other apps. This is a definite improvement over stock Android that you can't find on other devices. The S6 Edge comes with a few preloaded apps like S Planner, S Health, S Voice, and Smart Manager, but these actually manage to be somewhat useful rather than getting in the way. S Health can track your steps as well as your heart rate using the built-in sensor, and S Voice is a Google Now-like service that can be called up from any screen using a simple voice command. The fingerprint scanner works perfectly. You can register up to 4 fingers, and it usually recognizes them near instantly. Right now, your fingerprints can be used to unlock the device, sign into web services using the stock browser, and sign into your Samsung account. But when Samsung Pay launches this summer, you should be able to verify payments with it. The curved edge of the device has a few features that you may or may not find useful, like a news ticker, a nighttime clock, quick access to your contacts, and contact-specific notifications. These were handy little features, but I'm not sure they justify the cost. Battery life was not great on this device. I barely made it through a day with my regular usage, and any heavy usage killed it easily before the end of the day. One advantage that it has, though, is fast charging. The S6 Edge can go from dead to 100% in about an hour, though it does get super hot while charging. The phone also comes with both wireless charging standards built in, so you can wirelessly charge it using any wireless charging pad on the market. Now for the Gear VR. This $200 device is the second generation of the Gear VR line, the last one being compatible only with the Note 4. This Gear VR is compatible only with the S6 and the S6 Edge. You simply lock the phone into place on the front of the device, and it uses your phone to power everything. My experience with the Gear VR was very positive. Things were a bit pixelated even with the 2K screen, but in general it did such a good job of head tracking that I felt immersed in the virtual world. You can watch movies in a virtual theater, watch trailers for things like Insurgent or the Avengers, but its main use is of course video games. And the few games that existed were quite fun. Dread Halls was mildly terrifying, and James's Legacy was entertaining. My main problem was that there wasn't enough games. I downloaded most of the games in the Oculus Store and got bored after a few days. It certainly has the potential to be a worthwhile device, but it needs more content to do that. Samsung sells their own controller for the Gear VR that costs $80, but I simply used a $5 GameStop Red Samurai V2 Bluetooth controller that worked fine. There's also a touchpad on the side of the Gear VR for navigating menus with a controller. When we step back and look at these two devices, it's clear that they're both innovative and enjoyable. However, the Galaxy S6 costs way too much and has pretty weak battery life. The Gear VR, on the other hand, needs a bit of polishing up and a whole lot more games added to its library. Be sure to head on over to MakeUseOf.com to read the full review and find out how you could win these two devices for yourself.